Well, hello and welcome to the Brian Hornback Experience. This is about 212, I think. But anyway, hey, it's been a while since I've been on here. I apologize for that. I've had some things going on, quite obviously, and so I am happy to be back and doing what we need to be doing, which is talking about things going on in Knoxville, things going on in Nashville, things going on in Tennessee. Things that are going on all across our country. And so this is going to be kind of a catch you up. Obviously, today's July the 1st, 2026. And we are just on the edge of July 4th. 250 years that this country has been in existence. The birth of our country 250 years ago. I remember in 1976, I would have been about 10 years old. And I remember at Sunnyview Elementary School, some of the festivities going on about 1776, about the 200th birthday. And now here we are and now here we are, 250. I've survived 59 years. It'll be 60 in about a month, a little more than a month. But anyway, so it's going to be a great experience this weekend, celebrating all that America is, and so I hope you'll be safe. I hope you'll take in some of the festivities. Saturday morning, about 9:30, the town of Farragut will step off again with their annual Independence Day parade. And so I'll be there. I'll actually be in it. I won't be able to walk in it because I'll be driving a car representing the Tennessee Republican Party in my role as state executive committee man. So look forward to seeing everybody out there. I'll try to do some interviews with folks before the parade. And share those with you all as I can. But hey, let's get caught up. I think we've all kind of covered the Knox County election. I think we did that. I think we did a post-mortem on that. But let's just go ahead and get it all covered again. Obviously, Betsy Henderson won very convincingly for the Republican primary for mayor of Knox County, so she now faces Bo Hawk. Man, what an individual the Democrats chose for county mayor. We're talking about a guy that while we were locked up in COVID, I wasn't locked up because fortunately, I had a job that was classified as essential. And so I was out selling groceries every day during COVID. But Mr. Hawk went on down to Venezuela and he marched with Hugo Maduro. He down there with his No Trump rallies. And now look, the guy that he was bragging about, the guy that he was standing with, the guy he was supporting, is now locked up. He and his wife are locked up in New York for micro-terrorism. And so, and Bo Hawk's only explanation to the Daily Paper was he's young and dumb. Bro, that was just about 5 years ago. Or 6 years ago, if I'm going to give you the full extent of it. So Betsy Henderson will, in all likelihood, be our next county mayor because surely Knoxville and Knox County is not going to elect a guy who went down to Venezuela and marched with a communist, and a communist that has done harm and attempted to bring harm to this country, especially by shipping in drugs and whatnot to this country. So we're glad to see that Venezuela can now operate peacefully as their own, and not under the confines of a communist and somebody who has brought harm. Brent Gibson was one of four candidates for sheriff. He got 44% of the vote out of the four candidates. Obviously, there was a little bit of a challenge that the state executive committee had to deal with. We dealt with that, the 66 of us. Well, there were 63 when we actually heard the challenge, and it was unanimous to keep Brent Gibson as the Republican nominee for sheriff. So Brent is unopposed. Apparently, there's not a Democrat that can be post-certified to be sheriff, and so we will. So Brent Gibson will be our next sheriff, and so he's preparing and he's doing good work to do that. Andrea Klein, our General Sessions judge, she is. She's on the bench. She won the primary, and so she'll face Ben Houston. Nick McBride won the trustees race, won the primary. He faces Steven something. So important, I don't remember the guy's last name. Anyway, his first name's Steven. But he don't even have his last name on his signs, which is bizarre to me, but whatever. And so, yeah, and then Barry Beeler became the Republican nominee out in North Knoxville, out in the 7th District. And he faces a Democrat. Sherry Super won in the 3rd District by 11 votes, and so she faces a Democrat. Garrett Holt won the primary, and he now faces Vivian Shipe, a Democrat. And Justin Kofer won the other at-large position, and he faces Katita Sharp, I think. Anyway, all those races should become Republican victories, but you know we got to wait till August the 6th. So in about 16 days, early voting will begin. So early voting begins on July the 17th, runs through August the 1st, with Election Day being Thursday, August the 6th. For those of you that don't know, I started a monthly transparency series. The month of May, I detailed the salaries of the public employees of the Register of Deeds office. The month of June, I did the trustee's office, which happens to be where I work. There was a lot that was, so let me just explain why I did this transparency salary series, or am doing it. It's primarily because several years ago, Phil Hamby, a guy who was a home builder, but he also owned a publishing business. He had a newspaper in town, and he bought the Knoxville Journal name, and so he became the Knoxville Journal, right? And he did a series where he went through the 6,000 plus employees of the school system and detailed their salaries, and it was a year-long series. So I thought about what Phil had done back in the 90s, and I thought, you know what, that would be a good thing to take on with like the fee offices, because there's a lot of talk about the fee offices. The daily paper really has concentrated on one office, the office I worked in, and didn't concentrate on the others. While you got some offices that have remote workers that moved from Knoxville to, say, Naples, Florida, and we're still making $86,000 a year for 2 years working remote. The daily paper didn't care about that story. And so, you know, I just thought it was important. One, I wanted to correct the story, the narrative that they put out a year ago, that I received a 72% pay increase. I asked the editor of the editor and publisher of the daily paper in an email, and if I need to share that email, I will. But I asked him to just name my salary instead of the percentage, because when I was hired in October of 22, I was hired as a part-time hourly seasonal employee, which means I would work 9 months out of the year. I would be off June, July, and August. And so, my salary was not very significant. So I started there on October the 6th of 22. By about the middle of, within the first quarter of 23, I was working seasonal part-time, hourly, in the tax relief, tax freeze, which is the same department I still work in today. But one of the full-time employees left in the first quarter of 23, and I was asked if I wanted that full-time position. So I took that position. So I went from seasonal, part-time, hourly to full-time. But as I revealed the salary in June, my salary today is $55,781. Certainly not what people reading the daily paper believed when they saw that I got a 72% pay raise. So if you take the math, if you're a math person, you take the math that Allie and Joel did. If you take my dollar amount of $55,781 and you back out 72%, then what was my salary? Yeah, exactly. So that's why I did that. But there's going to be a lot of other great things going on. Independent audit is another salary that'll be coming up. The mayor's office salaries will be coming up. The mayor's salaries will probably be done in July or August, simply because with Mayor Jacobs going out and Betsy Henderson coming in, I think it's important that those salaries be discussed before the others. Obviously, I have the salaries of the property assessor, the county clerk. That position's changing hands, but it can wait until September, October. Register of deeds we've already done, so there's a change there. So we'll be monitoring. Obviously, we now have the baseline on all of these offices. So we'll be able to examine them on an annual basis, and we'll be able to see what's going on. Independent audit acts like that they're going to be looking at these offices as they transition from office holder to office holder. Well, BrianHornback.com and the MegaBullhornOfTruth.com will be more transparent than independent audit because I've now got the baseline. I've got the register of deeds, the trustee. I've got the property assessor. I've got the county clerk. I've got the circuit court clerk. I have the criminal court clerk. So all of those offices, we now have the baseline. And so we'll know when we pull these numbers again sometime in late fall, early winter, we'll be able to see, what employees moved from one department to another department, and did their salaries increase significantly. I'm not saying independent audit doesn't get it right, but what I'm saying is to have the media or the transparency holding independent audit and anybody else accountable for the information is critically important. So that's what's going to be happening going forward. See this right here? See that right there? That would happen to be the name tag from the conference that I went to in Nashville. The only trip I went on that the daily newspaper wrote about during their writings of the things that are going on. That's the only conference I went to. Right there's the name tag. Guess what? I've got all the other notes. I've got the amount of money. I have the financials of the Trustee Association of Tennessee. How much money the bank collectors had in their own association account. I've got it because while it was believed by a biased journalist and a biased daily paper that somehow we were staying in high-end luxury hotel. We stayed at the Drury Inn on Korean Veterans Boulevard. Not exactly high-end, unless, of course, the newspaper stays at the Motel 6, where they leave the light on for them. And so, yeah, why do we stay there? We stayed there because the other office holders that were there from Knox County had already gotten their rooms at the Lowe's Vanderbilt. They had already secured the rooms. When we went to secure rooms, the Lowe's Vanderbilt was full. And guess what? Multiple emails were sent. Multiple emails were not responded to by the association putting on the conference telling us where to go. So, you know, there's that. The finance director signed off on what the trustee did. But yeah, that'll be coming out. I could have provided all that to the daily paper if they'd ever bothered to call and ask, but they didn't. So it's now going to be up to me to do that, and I'll do that as a postmortem. Happy to do it. Happy to shed light on some of the sessions that happened, and particularly the Trustees Association, which is part of the County Officials Association of Tennessee COAT Conference, which is what we attended. There was a lot of things going on there. Obviously, the trustee, in his time in office, his first year, he said, look, the tax-freeze amount is not significant. It's the same tax-freeze amount that was set in the early 70s. It would go up, you know, for a cost of living every year, but the difference between tax relief for those who are 65 and older and the amount between tax-freeze was within about $8,000 to $10,000. Trustee Biggs went to Nashville the first year, and asked the legislature, look, we need to raise the tax-freeze amount if local municipalities will sign off on it. And it took till the second year to get that approved. And then, of course, the county commission approved it. It started at $61,000. Last year it was $61,900. This coming year, starting October 1st, it's $63,470. So any of you who are 65 and over, if your combined income, if it's still you and your spouse, or if it's just you and you're the only homeowner, if your income's under $63,470, you need to not walk, but you need to run to the Knox County Trustee's office. Or if you're not in Knox County, you need to call your trustee's office and see if they offer the tax freeze. Not every trustee across the state offers the tax freeze because it's a county program, and a county commission has done that. They've offered it, and so the trustees done it. But thanks to Trustee Justin Biggs for taking that almost $20,000 increase, really brought in a lot of other people. The people that are on the program today are a lot happier today because we worked for the last 2 years letting them know that the reappraisal was coming, the reassessment was coming, and you want to freeze your taxes so that they don't go up in the event of reappraisal or reassessment. So those that have gotten on it in the last couple of years, I know you're appreciative of those efforts and the work that's been done there. But I'm happy to take the megabullhornetruth.com and brianhornback.com, and I'm willing to take it to a step further to show you what the lazy media in town doesn't care to bother to ask. They didn't bother to ask about the conferences, the programs that we attended when we were at the COAT conference, or in the other programs that any of our other employees may have participated in. So that kind of gets you caught up on the podcast. I'm going to be doing some interviews with some candidates here in the next week or so. So you're going to see a lot more of this. Again, I apologize. There's been some issues I had to deal with unrelated to the election, but more so with some issues that are somewhat personal But everything's good here at the Hornback house. It was just it's just some old age stuff, and so happy to get back on here. Happy to be involved. Now, obviously, you know that I'm the state executive committee man in District 6. That is the state Senate district that Becky Massey represents. So everything from Halls, going over through Gibbs and Corrington, going down into Ritta and Mascot, and over into Strawberry Plains, and down into Sunnyview and Carter and Thorn Grove and Riverdale and Ramsey, and then crossing the river over into South Knoxville with Pond Gap and Kimberlin Heights and Bonnie Kate and all of that in South Knoxville. And then coming back, and then when we get to the river, we kind of come back down the river, and we kind of come over and we hit Sequoia, and we hit Rocky Hill and Bluegrass, and we end up down here in Concord. I've been a resident of the 6th Senatorial District since 1973. And so 3 years before we celebrate our 200th birthday, I've been a resident of State Senate District 6. Cast my first vote in 1984 when I was 18 years old in State Senate District 6, and I've not missed one single election since I first cast my vote in 1984. I have a 4-page voting record. It's all Republicans. So when you see those out there saying I'm not conservative enough, or I'm a massively strong animal, they're right. I'm a strong animal, and I'm willing to fight, continue fighting for the people of District 6, and happy to make sure that the party that I started in 1982, that was a super minority party when we could only elect 1 or 2 Republicans, and now we've built it into a super majority. And when I say we, I'm talking about those of you that have been here, that helped build the party. Not the folks that have moved in. They're welcome to move in. They're welcome to become part of the Republican Party in Tennessee. Obviously, they moved here for some reason, probably lower taxes. Maybe because they were trying to get away from liberal indoctrination. But when you come here, you become us. You don't come here and try to change us. And so, I've been a Republican all my life, and I'm happy to continue to grow our party. I'm not beholden to one faction. I'm not owned by any faction. Every decision that comes before the State Executive Committee, I represent the people of the State Senate District 6. That's my only goal. That's my only job. And I've done it now for 5 years, and willing to do it another 4 years. But I need you to get out and vote July 17th through August the 1st, Republican primary. I need you to, when you see the Brian Hornback name, it's going to be the second name on the ballot. But I know that because it's the second name on the ballot, it's first in your heart. And I know you're going to vote for me. And I ask for your vote. I covet your vote. And as always, if I can ever be of assistance to anybody in State Senate District 6, you have my email. You have my phone numbers. They're on my website. They're on my Facebook. So reach out, let me know what you're thinking, and I am always going to represent you. Not beholden to any faction, it's I'm common sense, conservative, and Christian, conservative. My wife and I have been married for 38 years. We're still married, contrary to what a lot of people want to believe. Our kids are 35, 31, and 30. The 31-year-old will be 32 in about a month. So we're just enjoying life, and all the things that come with it. So those of you that were Blake or Pratt's, Plumley, up in Carter, Sunnyview, your family, and y'all have helped me every time, and I know that you'll continue to help me. And then all my friends that I've helped in Republican politics, I'm asking for your help one more time. And let's keep the Republican Party on the right track. And with that, I'm going to sign off of this particular podcast. And a gasoline invertebrate, I'm going to interview him before he heads off to Florida. They're moving out of here. But this is their song, Moving to Knoxville. It's the one that I moved to Knoxville. It's the one that they've given me permission to use. And so I'm happy to use it because it's a good little jingle.